Do 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 do. Burge. Yeah, Burge. I'm at the cottage. I don't know why I didn't come, Burge. We're still waiting on for you to cook me some dinner here. So, anyways, Burge, I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on my sandals too, by the way, which you promised a long time ago. Abby from Battle. Hi, Abby. Hi, Mo. Mo, I got wood. But Mo, my buddy Mo Taylor right there, if you guys need firewood, Mo can do that for you. And my mom's there. Oh, thanks. My mom just joined. Anyways, we're going to, I was just reading this before I bring on Tony for a quick second. I was just reading about, they're ranking the Canadians, ranking all the organizations in the National Hockey League, and it was on one of the NHL platforms, whether it was TSN or whether it was The Athletic or whatever. They were ranking the Canadians at, ranking them at 9. And I think it was 9. And what we do is, whether it's on RDS or anywhere else you work, you do it by comparables. And the only thing you can really do is, you compare. And I don't know, they wrote their article, and they're comparing the Montreal Canadiens franchise to all the other ones, saying that they're in the 9th best spot moving forward. The team finished 24th this year, haven't made the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years. And I just thought to myself, who's the one guy I can ramble on with this about? And it's Tony Marinaro. So Tony and I used to do radio together. Tony and I did a pregame or in between periods one day when I was at my buddy Chris Paul's place, and then I lost in golf later on that day. But we just sat around and went off. And the Canadians are a team in Montreal that are so easy to kind of get excited about, sad about, frustrated about, if you ever were a Habs fan before, which everyone in the city more or less is at certain times or not. But the fact that they were ranked 9th, and I went through all the reasons why they should be ranked 9th, and it was very slim. And then the comparables were with every other team, in which I really can't find that. So I went through, I put out a thing on email today, there's Tony. If you had to move 2 wingers, which I think the Montreal Canadiens do, they have to move 2 wingers. Who would you move, and why? I put it on Twitter as well, and I got a lot of great answers. Tony, you look fantastic.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes, you look. Are you in the basement?
No, I'm in my my kitchen.
Hey, last time we spoke, you had to see the side of the hair. Yeah. Now you're getting professionally done now, right?
No, I'm doing it myself.
And it's a joke.
Yeah, I'm still doing it myself.
Do you do it with the lights on or off?
On.
On? But do you close your eyes?
No.
Okay. Hey, that's big. What are you drinking?
Water with lemon.
Mine's tequila with lime. Same thing.
Good for you.
Hey,
I'm trying to get the lemon to burn off a little fat. I just had a large pizza.
So have it in, it's a great time to have it. Have it warm water with lemon in the morning.
You know what? A lot of people have told me that. And I keep saying to myself that I'm going to do it. And I just seem to be rushed in the morning all the time. And, it's not like it takes a long time to warm up water either. But waking up in the morning, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a struggle for me.
It is with me as well.
Yeah, if I could sleep in every day until noon, I would. But unfortunately, that's not reality.
So I haven't listened, for those that Tony does this will live on our Insta TVs, and Tony does the radio show in Montreal on Team 690, 10 a.m. to, he joins with Chris Nyland at 12 to 1, so he's on for
TSN 690, TSN.
Well, TSN 690.
TSN 690.
690 on your dial in Montreal, and you can catch it pretty much into Vermont, all the way up to where my cottage is, where I am right now. But Tony and I used to ride together, and we used to get going and argue about everything that you can argue about possibly, as to who combs his hair, who cuts it, and the lemon water thing. Yeah. But they just wrote, Tone, we can do this over 4 days, but more or less, did you see the article where the organization, the Canadiens were ranked 9th?
I didn't see that.
So I think it was
when did that come out?
Just a couple days ago. All right. They're ranking all the organizations, I think, moving forward, obviously with some of the, Vancouver being right near the top, Toronto right near the top because of the youth that they have and the talent that they have, and et cetera, et cetera. Montreal's 9, which I mean, there was a I did a thing the other night on RDS and my manchette, which you've been on RDS as well.
Yeah.
Was is this is this a was it a mirage? Did you believe in what happened in the playoffs?
Yes. I believe what happened in the playoffs because I believe that let's put things in perspective here, okay? This is what we know about the Canadians, PJ. We know that when they have 5 months off, the first 2 months of the season, they get out of the gate really fast and really good, right? It's been like this ever since you and I were co-hosting.
Yeah.
Right? And we used to say,
I
you know what,
but yeah.
They're a small, speedy team, and this way they get out of the gate fast. A marathon. Am I pausing here? Because my wife keeps calling me, and I keep declining the call.
Yeah.
She hasn't figured it out yet.
Tom.
Yeah, she doesn't follow me on Instagram, so she has no idea that I'm going live here.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, so I'm not surprised because they always get out of the gate very fast, PJ. I'm not surprised because Carey Price always plays great in the first 2 months of the season. So I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised because what did we know about the Penguins? We knew that Crosby wasn't at 100%. He wasn't scrimmaging all the time, wasn't practicing all the time. We knew that the Penguins have won 3 Stanley Cups in the last 12 years or whatever it is. And although they're still very competitive, they're probably, some of their better players are, dropping a little bit. And we knew that the motivation for the Penguins wasn't quite the same as it was for the Canadians. We knew that the Canadians were this team that Marc Bergevin spoke to them and said, you guys had an awful season, and now you have a chance to change all that, and you guys have something to prove, and here's your opportunity to do it. So because of that, I'm not surprised that they beat the Penguins. To be honest with you, I thought they were going to beat the Flyers too. And I still think the Flyers got through on a little bit of luck because they got the bounces. But at the same time, I do recognize that it was probably going to end there because they clearly are missing elements. So one of the things they're missing, and maybe 2 of them, they're missing scoring.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you one reason why they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and why St. Louis lost in the first round, why Edmonton struggled, why maybe not Edmonton, but any team that's been to a run, like Tony, I played in buildings. Like the Canadians are a young team. They have a lot of kids that don't know the difference. The 2 best players were a 20 and 21-year-old kid that are new to this, right?
Yeah, correct.
But teams that have made the run, going into a playoff building is so intimidating. Like the whole playoffs is a different beast than what happens during the regular season. It's like flying to St. Louis, you play St. Louis, then you go to Arizona, you play Arizona, then you go to Carolina. It's just kind of beep, 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 beep. Playoffs come, it's like a mano-a-mano, line up, we're matched up. Driving when I was playing for Boston, going into Montreal, the warm-up was so intimidating because it was so loud and so many people in the warm-up. And I can feel it probably for the Canadians the other way. That was intimidating. That was all gone in this. So none of that was there. The fans weren't there. The noon o'clock games or 1, 2, or everyone living in the same hotel. I think the teams with younger players that hadn't made a long run before, Washington's another one out like that.
Well, you know what? I was just going to say that. If you actually take a look at the last decade, take a look at the teams that won the Stanley Cup. Take a look at St. Louis. They're not in the Final Four. Take a look at Washington. They're not in the Final Four. Take a look at Pittsburgh. They're not in the Final Four. Los Angeles didn't make the playoffs. Chicago lasted. They beat Edmonton in the play-in, but then they were gone. The Boston Bruins got bounced.
Mm-hmm.
All the teams that won the Stanley Cup in the last 10 or 12 years or whatever it is, they're not there in the Final Four. So teams that have already made a run and maybe had already won that cup. Did you read the article that came out that the Washington Capitals were fooling around in the pool and stuff like that, and it looked like they just didn't want to be there and it looked like they wanted to go home type of thing? That doesn't surprise me.
Well, yeah, and I don't – listen, I want to give kudos to the NHL. If they pull this off, it is amazing. Like, the fact – I think the players deserve way more credit. They're away from their families for a few months. And people can say there's a money and everything. Listen, it's a crazy time in the world right now, and athletes are a different machine. To be away and doing this, and the hockey at the beginning, I wasn't a fan. It's getting a lot better as we kind of trim the fat down. But still, it is what it is. It's pretty impressive. So the intensity's there in a lot of these games. Other ones I have a hard time watching. Like the Islander Philly series was tough. Montreal Philly was tough. Pittsburgh Montreal. There's just some of the teams didn't have that I don't know, that flash, that flair that I.
Yeah.
But anyways, it is what it is. But I still look at all these teams, and I'm looking at what's what in Washington, Tony. I heard from an inside source they were in the bar as well. Like they were, but listen.
But you know when they stopped being in the bar? When Trotz was there. So you remember when
good point.
Before Trotz, everyone said the Capitals were a country club, right? And they used to get bounced every year.
Yeah.
Trotz comes in and someone's at front door. Okay, I'm not answering.
Hey Tony, it could be your pizza guy.
No. I went to pick up the pizza myself. Okay. Anyway, Trotz comes in and he puts an end to the country club. Puts an end to the country club, right? He sits Ovechkin. He scratches him.
Do you remember him sitting Ovechkin? I got to tell you a story.
Yeah.
So I'm on Hockey Night in Canada. They sit Ovechkin. Okay? And I know because I know their previous coaches, what it was like there.
I don't know what's a bigger story, Ovechkin getting sad or the fact that you were on Hockey Night in Canada. Both are pretty amazing to me. Who hired you, by the way?
Are you done?
Who hired you? What did you do, Beg?
Imagine if I worked with you longer where you'd be. I got you on RDS.
What did you do, Beg? Okay, go ahead. All right, so you're on Hockey Night in Canada.
So I go and I say, where he benched him right away, early, preseason or was it early in the season? I said, well, listen, he's coming in, new coach, and obviously he wants to, wherever there's smoke, there's fire. And I kind of just kept going. Well, the Washington Capitals called Hockey Night in Canada right away. Well, what do you mean? Why is he saying that? And I'm like, well, I know what's going on in that locker. By the way, I had ex-teammates that played there. So
great. You just divulged one of your sources. Great.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it could be coaches or it could be players.
You already said it was You already said it was a former teammate, PJ. Go ahead.
I didn't say that. I said it was a coach, but that's not me. Anyways, the guys weren't huge fans of OV. The guys were not huge fans of OV because of the way he had a connection right to the owner. And the new coach comes in and he has to chop that guy's legs off. Pardon the expression.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he did. And I had a way of phrasing it. The bosses at freaking Hockey Night in Canada come in and give me shit for saying that. How can you say that? I'm like, well, I know what I'm saying. They're like, well, who's your source? I'm like, I'm not giving you my source. So they trusted the organization more than they trusted where I got my thing, my info, which is so. Anyways, I can go on.
Good for you. You never divulge your source. And listen. Here's the deal. Okay.
Anyways, but your point is,
but we've all been down this road before.
It was a country club until it got fixed.
Until it got fixed, and he came in and he basically had to bring Ovechkin back down to earth, and he had to make him just one of the guys, right? And now that he's gone, it doesn't surprise me that the Washington Capitals are a country club again because Barry Trotz had certain standards that he's carried over to the New York Islanders. That Lou Lamoriello, of course, is there, and they've reinforced those standards. And, so I'm not surprised. Good for you for not divulging your source, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, here's the deal. Okay, I want to add something on this, all right? I, too, every now and then, will say something, and listeners will think I'm out to lunch, He's just saying this stuff to stir up controversy and stuff like that and all that stuff. Here's the deal. I don't invent stuff. I didn't do it when I was my first year on the job. I'm definitely not going to do it when I'm 17 and a half years on the job.
Hold on.
And I have a loyal following.
You've had a job for 17 years in the same place?
It'll be 18 years, January 6th.
You're asking how I got on Hockey
I've been hosting the same show for the last 12. Montreal Forum. Cult following. I'm loved. I'm good at what I do, man.
Which is eating pizza and cutting your hair in the dark.
That is correct. No, but
17 years.
I wanted to say
you for the first decade.
I wanted. You must have a bad back by now. I wanted to say this. To the people at Hockey Night in Canada who asked you for your source, like PJ doesn't have to invent anything. You know what I mean? You're PJ Stock. You played in the National Hockey League. You earned your stripes on the radio and on television. You don't need to say stuff just to get a reaction from people. You don't need that. We're we're beyond that. And so I didn't invent stuff when I started off. I'm going to invent stuff now. I don't. And you know what? Sometimes, here's the deal. We'll let people in on certain things that we do. Sometimes we speculate certain things, or we say that, my gut tells me, or I'm thinking this, and actually what comes across as speculation, or what comes across as some of the things that might just be our opinions, are actually fact. We've actually been told from a source very close to the situation, but that source has said, don't say anything, so you don't want to divulge.
So
You got to phrase it in a certain way,
right,
so that there's no heat for anybody, right?
Tony. So
where do we start here? You were shocked that they're ninth. Is that it?
Yeah, no, I just kind of threw. Listen, I don't know what happened those 2 weeks of the playoffs. I really don't. I look at the Montreal Canadiens and I look at them and I'm like, are they the team that finished 24th? Or are they the team that beat Pittsburgh that is scratching for, like I mentioned, or we discussed, all those Stanley Cup teams that have played at such high levels with the intimidation of the building, with the crowds, and are sharing a hotel room with the other 12 team or 11 teams they're playing with? Did they beat that team? Or are they the team that struggled all year? Kotkaniemi spent the year in the minors pretty much because I think he had 16 points on the year. And now he's your number 2 center, comes back and he's just physical monster that's going around hitting everyone. Are they the team that Johnny Drouin had a great couple of games with Suzuki? Are they the team where Dano's on the third line? So I put this out today. I just want to give some of these people some answers because I want to thank them for answering. But the question was, I like the 1, 2, 3 Suzuki, KK, Dano as the 3 centers. I love that. I think it's okay if Dano will swallow his pride and stay as the 3.
Well, you know why he doesn't want to, right? You're a smart guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Some people haven't figured it out, right? Some people are like, well, here's the deal. Of course, he's a competitor. Of course, he's got professional pride. Of course. If Philip Deneau drops to the third line and his minutes per game go down, and with all due respect to Paul Byron and Arturi Lehkonen, those become his line mates instead of Thomas Tatar and Brendan Gallagher, Philip Deneau will score 8 or 9 less goals, and Philip Deneau will pick up.
He only gets 8 or 9.
And Philip Deneau will pick up 25 less points. All right, so he'll go from a 55-point guy with a potential to go 60 on a number 1 line. He'll actually have his production cut in half. If his production's cut in half and his contract is up next year at the end of the year, guess what? He's got to go after his agent's got to go to Marc Bergevin. There's still value there, of course, but there's not the same value if he would go and he had picked up 60 points. He wants to stay on the number 1 line because he wants to make money.
Tony, you're GM now. Do you sign him now or do you wait till after the year?
If I know I'm going to play him on the third line, I wait till at the end of the year because his value is going to go down in terms of, monetary value.
So I also said today on one of the tweets that I sent out to the Instas you and I were answering, fooling around with, because you and I can argue this all day, and we're about to argue probably on something, on the one guy that I've been on this for a year. But I said, Canadians obviously got to make a couple of trades. We joke around. I hear your radio show, which is not the same since I left. But anyways.
You and hundreds of thousands of people, by the way.
Hundreds. My mom, your sister, your cousin.
Hey, I got a big family. What can I say?
Mama Leone, the pizza guy, the spaghetti guy, and I hear the show. It's the bagel guy, it's the juice guy, so I think they got to mix. I think they got to trade up their wingers for exactly what you said earlier, Tony. They're missing scoring. So, anyways, I said, which 2 wingers would you move? Which 2 wingers would you move off this team to create space and why? So, Remo 415 is Dwayne, Mikey K 617, Tatar and Byron. Super Nick is Tatar and Byron. Luca Bernardini, T.O. Ovarian Blitzer, shout out my sniper and T.O. Tatar Domi. Alenti Limo, Domi Dano. VF 0031, Tatar Domi. Raisins J, Domi Dano. Bruce Lee, Domi Byron. Bernie Marcotte, Dwayne Lehkonen. Raymond Singh, Domi Tatar. Philip Kuzekin, Domi for a D he wants. Maddie 799, Domi Gallagher. Those are some of them. The last one for me, Tony, if you had to move 2 wingers.
Okay, I know where you're going. Where you're going is the 99.9% of the fan base would not move Brendan Gallagher. And you, who understands his value to the team, because you're not stupid, contrary to what some people may think. You would move him.
You wanted the pause, eh? You wanted the pause?
You would move him because he's a 30-plus goal scorer a couple of years in a row. He's led the Montreal Canadiens in goal scoring for the last 3 years. He's a character guy that a lot of teams would want. He's still less than 30 years old. But you're probably thinking that, A, the Canadiens are small. B, he's one of very many small players on the team. C, he has value, which some of the guys on the team don't have all that much of, with all due respect to them. And D, you probably think that here on in, there's going to be less juice in the orange for Brendan Gallagher than there was earlier on in his career because of the way he plays. And to that, I say, I entertain offers too, PJ. Because let's be honest here. You're talking about moving two wingers. People are throwing out Paul Byron's name. With all due respect to Paul Byron, like, what do you think you're going to get for Paul Byron?
Nick is like, you won't move him heart and soul. Guys are jumping in right now.
No.
Filimo, future captain. I'm reading that.
And I didn't say I would move him because I know he's the glue.
I'll give you mine. You summed me up a lot.
He's the glue.
He's the glue. But the glue for a team that has done nothing in 5 years. He's the glue to a team that comparably to, and that's what we do. I don't see them making the playoffs next year. So because they're missing so many, I'm hoping Canadians fans and Bruce Lee, who just, is that really Bruce Lee? That the Canadians, this Romanov comes in and he's a stud. They are betting the house on this guy. And they've been just talking about him and talking. He plays a few minutes a game on the number one team. You know how Komisarek was kind of a little bit camouflage playing with Markov every night?
Yeah.
That's kind of, I'm worried about this Romanov kid coming in. He's playing on the number one team. He had a good World Juniors 2 weeks. You know, Suzuki had a bad World Juniors. And, well.
I'm not worried about him, and I have to tell you why. He's going to be entering his first year in the national.
Sorry,
yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah, that's Johnny Antonacci, by the way. That's a Lante limousine. If you ever need a limo.
I do.
Okay, it's done.
Hey, Johnny, you need a limo.
I'll take care of it. Listen to me.
Hey, do you know a guy?
I always know a guy.
Okay.
I always know a guy.
Sean Couturier won the Selkie this year, FYI.
I'm not worried about Romanov because I'm not setting the bar high. He's a guy who's going to play his first season in the National Hockey League. So I'm going to tell you what worries me, right?
What worries me? Drink. Tony, talk loud.
Yeah, what worries me is Ben Sherratt, who played so great with Shea Weber, but was that a small sample size? Can Ben Sherratt be a first-pairing defenseman at 23-plus minutes per game, night in and night out, especially if next year Bill Daly gets what he wants? He wants 82 games, and he wants it in a condensed season, a condensed schedule. Can Brett Kulak be night in and night out, Jeff Petrie's partner, once again, if they play 82 games and it's a condensed schedule? So I'm not worried about a guy who's going to come in and play his rookie season. I'm worried about, can Sherratt do it full-time? I'm worried about, can Kulak do it full-time? And I know that Canadians fans looking at Suzuki and Kotkaniemi are like, hey, we're heading in the right direction. And by the way,
Linus, who's a great signing? So sorry, Tony, keep going.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are headed in the right direction too. But who's to say that Suzuki doesn't have the sophomore jinx? Many greats, even greater than him, have had it in the past. And, you know, who's to say that Kotkaniemi is able to pick up where he left off? Now, I think there are better days ahead. I'm going to go a step further than you. You said you'd entertain the possibility of trading Gallagher because of all the reasons that we talked about before, and because the Canadians aren't close.
The one thing you did leave off is his value to a team that's salary cap based. It's a 3.75 with the year left, and he's unrestricted free agent after the following year. My only thing, he's a lot of times you get paid for what you did in reverse. He's going to ask, if I'm his agent, it's 7-7 easily. I want 7 years at $7 million easily. My only concern is the back 9 of that, the back 3 years of that. The way he competes, for every reason that we love him, the human body, I can tell you, it breaks down sooner or later. Not yourself, you're a physical specimen.
Natural.
Myself, I tend to get a little weaker at times.
Yeah, my body
breaks. He competes, and his size, it's going to start. Remember Mike Richards? How he just kind of, boom. Then you look at, there's only so much hockey a body can play. And then sometimes it goes like this. Sometimes it goes like that. And that's my concern with Brandon. Because I love him. For every reason why I want him, as guys are saying, to be the captain.
Everybody loves him. There's no reason why not to love him.
But if you want to get better, you have to give up something. Like you can mention Domi, he's an RFA, you still have to sign him. You can mention Byron, who's making 3 years left at 3.4 on probably the fourth line. Lehkonen, I like Lehkonen, 2.4 on the third line's easy. Tatar's UFA after a year making 5, 4.8, whatever. Like there's not a lot. Dwayne, who's going to pick him up at 3 years at 5.5?
And they're not going to trade Drouin either. They're going to live and die with him because after giving up Sergachev because they needed to bring in a French star, and years ago when they made that move, they weren't sure if Radulov was going to re-sign. There were a lot of people that had season ticket holders at the Bell Center, loge owners that were not sure if they were going to re-up on their loge, so they wanted to bring in a French star. They brought him in. They're going to live and die with Drouin, so they're not going to trade him. But I will say this. You said one of the reasons why you trade Gallagher is because the Canadiens don't have a Stanley Cup team. Okay. I've been on this for years now. I've been on it for years, and I know it's never going to happen because they gave Carey Price the no movement clause. Because, Shea Weber is, they talk about how great a captain he is and everything and all the organizational standards and all that. It's not fair to Price and Weber either, man. Can you imagine these guys having their career? And I know that there are some greats that never won the Stanley Cup, but having the career that they had to not give them a serious opportunity to win the Cup. So, look, I say this. You either go out and give them that opportunity, or you talk to them about maybe trying to get that opportunity somewhere else.
If you had to move one, which one do you move?
If I had to move either Price or Weber?
Yeah.
I'd move, wow, that's a good question now.
Hey. This is me carrying you on the radio every day. And guys bringing in cannolis for us.
Yeah.
Because me carrying you. This is what it was. It was me every day.
If I had to move one or the other, I'd probably move Weber because, Caden Primo could still stay in Laval for a couple of years and earn his stripes. And, so you're going to need a goalie here. Look, I don't know if there's a right answer to this because if they move one, they're going to move the other, right? If they would decide to move Price, they would move Weber. If they would move Weber, they would probably move Price. So,
So,
but then again, let's just say Jake Allen comes in, plays great, okay?
Yeah.
And so if they would decide to move Weber and they decide to re-up on Allen, they're probably re-upping on Allen and they're probably getting Allen at $5 million a year. And you've just traded away Price at $10.5 million. So with $5.5 million, you have some money to spend and you could probably do something. Like if you trade Shea Weber, then obviously you have a gaping hole on defense. But I could counter that and say that Jeff Petrie moves up from your first line right-handed defenseman, from your second pairing to your first pairing. But look, if they move one, they're going to move.
Who knows what Jolson's going to be like, right? He's supposed to be coming in and it'd be great. I mean, they got Fleury on the back end. Romanov, Jolson is probably their bottom three for now. Yeah. I do like Kulak. Like, my only argument about Price is it's hard to say this because he just played some of the best hockey I've seen him play in a long time.
Okay, what's your argument? I got to hear this.
I don't get the 10 million, 0.5. I don't think he's ever done anything to deserve it.
Okay.
He had 1 year. He had 1 year.
Yeah.
Where he won every trophy known to man.
Okay.
Okay. He's won 4 playoff series in his career.
Okay.
I can go back to compare some of the greats of all time.
Yeah.
He has the most wins ever as a Montreal Canadiens goalie.
All right.
And I don't want to take away from Price. I just don't want to discredit some of the greats that were before him. Like,
okay. What does he have to do in the playoffs for you to say, okay, he deserves that money? What would he have?
Make a Halleck run.
Make a Halleck run. Okay, so he made one. He made one. The year that he got hurt versus the Rangers?
But he got hurt. I know it's awful to say he got hurt.
Hold on a second. They got eliminated in the third round. Halleck got eliminated in the third round too. What was the difference? Halleck had more games of 53 saves? Okay, I got it. He made a Halleck run. Here's the deal, okay? I can get on his case every now and then too. And
no, but he's got it.
He doesn't have a great team, PJ.
But your team's based financially on this guy getting them there every year.
Yes,
His
I understand,
numbers,
but that's not his fault. And I know that the days of a goalie carrying a team and stealing playoff series, those are a thing of the past. Okay, it doesn't happen all that often anymore, right? You take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins winning the Stanley Cup. They won it with Matt Murray over the past couple of years. You take a look at Washington.
Niemi in Chicago.
They won it with Holtby, and he hadn't even started the series. You take a look at St. Louis, and they won it with Binnington. And 1 year later, Binnington was not even starting games, and Allen was, and all that stuff. You don't win it with goalies anymore, okay? You need to be really deep at the center ice position. You need to have a number one centerman, and in an ideal world, a number two centerman. Those are the teams that win the Stanley Cups. And you need to have a big-time scorer, and you have to have a great puck-moving defenseman. You need certain elements, obviously, okay?
Sure.
The Washington Capitals, when they won it, they had top three centers. They had Kuznetsov, they had Backstrom, they had Eller at number 3. They had a goal scorer like Alexander Ovechkin. They had John Carlson on defense, and they had Braden Holtby in goal. Sure. When the Boston Bruins won it, they had Bergeron and Krejci at the center ice position.
Hold on.
Like, you know that, all that.
I know,
okay,
but hold on.
Okay, let's do this.
They're all paying
You take Carey Price. You get him to the Pittsburgh Penguins a couple of years ago. Does he not win the Cup?
Pardon?
You take Carey Price and you put him in the Pittsburgh Penguins uniform 3 years ago when they won the Cup. Does he not win it?
No, because he's making $10 million. You won't have a Crosby on your team.
I understand, but it's not Carey Price's fault that the Canadians never got the first pick overall or the second pick overall, and when they did, there was never a Crosby or a Malkin available.
Listen, the draft is not. I can argue the draft with you all day. I'm right with you there. Okay, fine, but he's their high pick. He's their stud. He's their star.
But he can't score goals.
His last 3 years, Tony.
Yeah.
His last 3 years. His save percent is goals against was .311, which means you got to score 4 to win every game with him in nets. Another year was .249 and .279. That's the last 3 years. You need to score 3 goals with Carey Price 2 years and 4 another year. Okay. And his save percentage was .900, .918, .909. That's the last 3 years.
Okay.
That's bottom tier goaltending.
Okay.
Now, on
a team that you 10 minutes ago said trade Brendan Gallagher because they're nowhere near a Stanley Cup. They're no good.
I agree. But that's what
you said. So what do you want the guy to do? Score goals?
You handcuff them by making $10.5 million and only play 60 games a year.
He didn't handcuff him. His agent asked for what he asked for, and they gave it to him.
Listen,
you would do the same, and so would I.
Yeah, I agree. But my point is, you now have to stand up, live up to those expectations. If a goal scorer is not getting it, why are we on Jonathan Drouin? He's only making $5.5 million. But we're all over Johnny Drouin because for the games where he's a little inconsistent, we like to shove it down their throats.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal. In the play-in series,
why do we defend Carey so much?
Well, we don't defend him. We don't defend him. It's just that he has an average team. In the play-in series, I
just gave you his save percentage and his goals against.
In the play-in series, I understand, PJ.
I'll give you this year.
Ben Sherratt is his first pairing defenseman. Brett Kulak is his second pairing defenseman. Victor Mete and Xavier Ouellet are in the third pairing. Like what? While we're at it, come on.
Oh my God, you froze. I gotta take a picture of this.
Hey, listen to this, okay?
I just took a great picture of your face.
Their top goal scorer. Are we cutting out here? Are we good?
No, it's good. Your face froze. I took a big picture like this.
Listen to this. Okay. Since Pacioretty left, they've never had a guy who scores more than 33 goals on this team. When Pacioretty was here, his number one centerman for the longest time was David Desharnais. What do you want Carey Price to do? Even if Carey Price, even the fact that he's making $10.5 million, in the last 2 years, they had $7 million that they didn't spend. He's not handcuffing them. They got handcuffed because the general manager didn't go out and get anybody with that $7 million. They're not spending to the cap.
That's fair.
I won the debate. It's over now. What
it's not over.
Okay, Marinaro overstock.
No, I'm giving you. The problem is you just yell when I'm making my point. I'll give you.
No. The problem is.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on how do the Montreal Canadiens and I know the Molson family, and I love the Molson family, and they're great. They're great for our city, but for the amount that they charge to be a part of the experience of a hockey game, it's a lot of money. And for a team that raises so much money, why wouldn't you spend more to the cap? Because you're going to make it back anyways. So it was kind of, it upset a lot of people.
Well, because the general manager will tell you that he's not going to spend for the sake of spending.
I heard
but,
that.
they're not always going to tell us the truth. It could be that they have an internal budget.
4 years, for the last 5 years, they don't make the playoffs. This year's a bullshit slide in the back door, beat Pittsburgh. No reason to do that. They won 17 regular season games this year. And with a goalie who's the best in the world, and all these other reasons.
Look, PJ, you're not gonna get an argument from me that Carey Price, it would probably make more sense if he was making less money. Okay, that it would probably make more sense. But here's the deal. And I say this again, like if you had to have a Team Canada tomorrow,
that's not.
But who would your goalie be?
I could play goalie. You know what? I've seen you skate.
Yes.
You could play team goalie for Team Canada.
No, I can't.
Did he make a save in any?
No, I can't.
I hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me time out. Let me rewind. I'm getting mad at Carey, which I shouldn't be getting mad at Carey because Carey's awesome. He's amazing. He's a great goalie.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. Let's say you were, and you forget about salary for a second here.
That's my problem. I'm stuck on the salary.
Well, forget about it.
I'm sorry. I'm stuck on the 10 million. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Tony, we live in a world where expectations have to meet that bar.
I know, but then you have to take it on the general manager that decided to take $10.5 million on the cap every year and give it to a goaltender in a league right now, which is an offensive league where a lot of goals are scored, and in a league where in the last 5 years we've seen the teams that win the Stanley Cup, they don't have a goalie who plays more than 53 games. So it's not a coincidence. The trend is that you need two good goalies, and you need to probably spend about $11 million, $10 to $11 million between the two of them instead of giving $10.5 million to one goalie. I understand all of that. If you were to do a pool right now, you would forget about a hockey pool, and you would say, okay, you know what? I'm PJ Stock. I'm making a team. My team is going to play against everyone else's team in this whole pool type of thing. And it's time for you to pick your goalie. The age doesn't matter. It's one playoff round. It's 3-4 playoff rounds to go on to win the Stanley Cup. Chances are you're picking Price top 3, right? Notwithstanding age, notwithstanding salary. How many guys can you say are better than him?
Tony, the last 3 years.
Vasilevsky, maybe.
Markstrom. I can name
Markstrom. Markstrom lost his job to Thatcher Demko.
But Price lost his job. He can only play 20 games a year, for crying out loud. My problem is, you're right. I'm going to give you a benefit of the doubt. I'm stuck on the price. I'm stuck on the price. I'm stuck on the price of Price. So I will give you that.
This team was so average. They used 3 backup goaltenders this year. They didn't win more than a game each.
Who's that? The backups.
The backups. They won a game each.
No, but Tony, they're financially strapped on the backups because they can't afford a backup because they're paying 10.5 to the number one.
It's not true. They just gave a backup $4.35 million. And they've had $7 million on the cap not used for the last couple of years, PJ.
Because they realized Carey can't play more than 60 games a year.
Yeah.
So really, you're not paying him $10.5 million over an 82-game season.
I understand that.
You're paying him $10.5 million for 60.
Correct, and that's why they should have never paid him $10.5 million.
And they give him the home games. They give him the benefit of the doubt games. They give him a lot of things. And I'm on a vent on Carey Price, which is getting a little long-winded, and I don't want to do this. I'm lost on where I was going with this. But my point is,
in the play-in series, they just played versus the Penguins.
Yes.
You talked about superstars on the other teams, right? Crosby, Malkin, Carey Price for the Canadiens, right? Out of those three, who was the best player in that play-in series? It was Carey Price. Now, I realize that Malkin and Crosby, a month later, they went in for an operation and stuff like that. I get it, okay? But it just goes to show you that short term in a short series, he can be able to pull it off and he could rise to the occasion and steal series. But in a marathon,
He's won four. He's won
but
four in his career.
but there's no other
That's
goalie
my
in the
point.
league. Hold on a second.
That's my point. You just said
Bobrovsky makes the same money as Carey Price. Okay?
1 year.
If
He's
you
1
take-
year in.
Perfect. But if you take him, okay, and you would have put him with the Canadians, would they have won the cup?
I don't know.
No.
What am I saying? It's a complete hypothetical. That's
No,
just stupid.
because they
You
haven't
can't-
had PJ, Philip Deneau still to this day was their number one centerman.
I
The
agree.
Canadians
but don't
haven't
ask
had
you
a
can't
number
ask
one
a
centerman
hypothetical.
in 20 years.
You can't ask a silly hypothetical and be like, well, if Ovechkin played with Dano, would Dano
Okay.
have 80 points?
Okay, but you can't do an Instagram live with me to talk about who the Canadians have to move, and for the last 15 minutes tell me that the problem's price. It's not price,
No,
man.
I'm not saying it's price.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
frustrated. You
Get
brought
back.
up price.
All right. What do you want to
brought
talk
up-
about?
I love Price.
Yeah.
I do. But we get stuck in comparables. And that's why the Canadians are in this struggle. I'm sorry. It is. They're in a jammed up. They have $50 million on goalies. Now they only have so much. They got to sign Suzuki. KK's that restricted a couple years. They're going to lose Tatar UFA, Wheel, Armia, Dano, and Gallagher, all UFA within a year. On the back end, Petrie's UFA. They got to re-up these guys. Gallagher's going to 7 in his sleep. Dano's at 3 on the low end. He's going to 5 easily. Armia, he can stay at 2.6. He'll end up at 3.1, give or take. Wheels a wash. Tatar, if he stays, I think he stays around the same number. But my point of all of this is,
Yes.
they got to move some guys because they're too small.
Yeah.
They're not physically gifted like yourself. So if they're going to move 2 guys,
Yeah.
I want to know which 2 guys you would move, because I don't like the way this team is set. I think what happened in the playoffs is 2 weeks of someone getting hot.
I'll tell you one guy right now. I'd move Thomas Tatar.
Wow.
I'd move Thomas Tatar. He never scored 30 goals in his career.
Lorenzo says Dwayne Domi. Bruce Lee says Domi Dwayne. Keep going.
Yeah, I understand that, but they're not going to move Jonathan Drouin.
No, I'm just reading. I
understand, but they won't move Jonathan Drouin, right?
I'm a man of the people.
They won't move Jonathan Drouin, right? They apologized because Kirk Muller didn't speak French, okay? They're not moving Jonathan Drouin.
Merci, Tony. Je comprends. Continue.
All right? Okay? They're not going to move Jonathan Drouin. The one that I think is realistic is Tatar. Tatar led the team along with Gallagher in goals. He led them in points. So, how much is he going to ask for? They're going to have to pay him $7 million
No, he doesn't go past.
to a perimeter player who's a winger. So, I don't know what his value is. I would imagine you would have to package him because on one-on-one it would be difficult. But one of the guys I would move, and to tell you the truth, I'm going to tell you this. I didn't like Max Domi's body language this year. I didn't.
My hair looks good.
Okay? I don't blame him entirely. He picked up 72 points a year ago.
I agree.
And he's never had the benefit in 2 years to play with the first line left winger and the first line right winger. And in the playoffs, he was playing fourth line. So I didn't like his attitude, but it doesn't mean he's all wrong.
Do you think that's a message for a specific reason? Thanks, Tadros. Do you think
this is what I think. I think.
First off,
yeah.
I love when you think because it doesn't happen often.
Thank you.
Go ahead. This is your moment.
I don't have to think to do, to do pretty well in this conversation. But here's the deal. I think they think that there are players on this team that are better team guys than others.
Fair.
And when it comes to being a team guy, I don't think they see Max Domi at the top of that list. We agree on that?
I can do some more. Remember I told you about guys that I know? Remember the thing that I told you?
Yeah.
Someone said to me that played in Arizona.
Okay.
If he's your best player, you're never going to win anything.
Okay.
Which kind of he's still young though, but he did get 70 points. So this is my thing. Like Johnny Dwayne's young. Domi has his issues. He's a kid too, though. But they've grown up in this kind of elitist mentality. They got away with so much, and once they start getting pushed, it backfires a little on them and how they play, how they react. I'm taking my net and going home, and that's what it looked like with Domi in the playoffs. Mind you, if I'm Domi and I got 70 points last year, I'm mad too. So
of course, 100%. But you know what? What leverage does he have? He's RFA.
Okay.
He's not happy. You got to come to work. You don't want to come to work. You stay home. You're not getting paid. You want to know what I would do if I was him?
Give me your two.
Well, I would move Tatar.
Yeah.
But I would keep Domi.
But he's UFA after a year.
I get that. But I would keep Domi. I'd move him at the draft, Tatar. At the draft in October, I'd move him. I would keep Domi. He's 4 years younger than Tatar. He's grittier than Tatar. He's shown in his career year that he had a better season than Thomas Tatar ever has had since Tatar's been in the National Hockey League. I just would make a commitment, if I was Domi, to become the best left winger I possibly could. Because we already know they don't see him as the first-line centerman, they don't see him as the second-line centerman, and they don't see him as the third-line centerman. So if this guy wants to pick up points...
You can't play him at center. Tony, he's defensively irresponsible and lazy.
So...
You can't... Listen... Once the face-off, unless you play him, so listen, center, left winger, you start off like this, right? Here's your centerman. After the face-off dropped, who cares what they're all interchangeable.
Yes, of course.
Unless you play him with a very responsible winger, which is the down-low guy every time.
With Lehkonen or Byron.
He can't be a center because he can't be your low man because he's irresponsible and cheats on the offensive side of the puck in the D zone. So you can't have him there. So unless you say, hey, you're here for the face-off or whatever, and because the other guy can't do it, like you said, those two guys you just mentioned, great. And then they can wheel and deal, but Lehkonen is the low man. I play with Gretz and Wayne Gretzky's line mates. He always had one guy that was really defensive responsible. I played at the tail end of his career, but it was Nicholas Sundstrom. Nicholas Sundstrom doesn't get a lot of credit because when he came to Montreal, a lot of people remember him at the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
He did a lot for Wayne in New York. Wayne didn't have to come back in his own zone because Nicholas was the low guy on everything.
Yeah, I hear you.
If you want Domi to be that guy, you need, like you just said, Tony.
So let's talk business now. Okay, business. Let's talk business.
We got like 10 minutes. I want to watch football.
Okay, all right. You and I both. Here's business. For everyone to say he's gone, he's gone, he's gone. All right? If I'm the Montreal Canadiens, I'm not doing anybody any favors. I'm not trading Max Domi, who picked up 28 points less than he did the year before, who didn't score a point in 9 of 10 playoff games, who centered the fourth line, and everyone and their sister knows he wants out of Montreal, or it looks like that's what it looks like. I'm not trading him. His value's at a low. And once again, what leverage does he have? He's an RFA. If he's not going to sign up with the Canadiens, he's going to stay home and not get paid. I bring him back. I have a conversation with him. I put him in a position. I trade Thomas Tatar at the draft. I put Max Domi or Jonathan Drouin on the first line or second line. So Domi's going to be on one, Drouin will be on the other. Yeah. So now Domi's going to have either Suzuki as a centerman or he's going to have Deneau and Gallagher as line mates. So I put him on one of those top two lines. He's going to pick up points again. If he gets happy again, then I fix the problem. If he's not happy, but he's picked up points, his value goes up, and then I can trade him.
Nadia Saputo says Tony for GM. So quickly, that's one name. Okay? The problem is, Tony, Dwayne and Domi are both 5'10". Suzuki's 5'11".
Was that Nadia Saputo you said?
Yeah.
Nadia's fantastic, by the way.
Yeah. So let's move. But, Tony, we still got another problem.
Yeah. Tell me.
3 other guys that are 5'10" and smaller, and I think you got to move 2. You have to move 2. In my opinion, you have to move. You need faster Armias, if that makes sense. You need I would trade draft picks. We have an abundance of them because your point is unless you move Price or Weber, you got to jump on it while it's hot now. But you got to move another forward. So I'll give you the Tatar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that because he's at least consistent mathematically. You
Okay.
know what you get every year from him. 5 years, over 20 goals, a couple years over 50 points. You know what you get from him all the time. Name me another winger you're going to move.
Okay. I'd love to take a look at Caulfield.
No. He's not on the team. He told me we got to make space on the roster.
Okay. What I'm saying is I'd like to take a look at Caulfield. If I see that Caulfield is ready and I believe that he can score at the next level.
He's 5'7", Tony.
Correct. Hold on a second. If I see that he, I think he can score at the next level, at that point, I'd look at entertaining a trade for Gallagher, right?
Okay.
Because him and Gallagher are both going to be on the right side.
Who's your top 4 wingers?
Your top 4 wingers?
Dwayne. We did Dwayne, Domi on the left.
Dwayne and Domi on the left.
Right side, Tony.
Gallagher. And then Tatar's the left winger, but like I said, I'm trading him at the draft. So if you want me to answer with Tatar here, it's Tatar, Gallagher, Drouin, and Domi. But I'm trading Tatar at the draft.
You got to trade 2 of them, Tony. They're too small, man.
Like, I know they're too small.
Like, imagine these teams playing Dallas or playing Vegas or a Bruins team in the playoffs that really want to play, or even Washington when they want to play.
I know they're too small.
Tampa, Islanders, here they come. Hello, Carolina. Watch out for Ottawa in a year. Like there's a lot of teams that Washington's still going to be Washington. There's a lot of teams that are going to be like, we do comparables, and that's what we do. They have to make some moves. You can't give me a second one. You're struggling on the second one.
Well, look,
you're going to
Tatar is one. Here's the deal, PJ. If you trade Brendan Gallagher,
Columbus, thanks, Bruce Lee.
Okay, if you trade Brendan Gallagher,
yeah,
what do you think you can get for? Before I answer this question, what do you think you can get for Brendan Gallagher? Like if you're telling me that I could package Brendan Gallagher, I could package a first-round pick, and I could package a prospect, and I can get Patrick Laine, I'll do the deal right away.
That's something I'm sure they think about. They're not happy with Laine whatsoever in Winnipeg, and he wants $9 million a year.
Yeah, but are they going to trade 22-year-old Laine for 29-year-old Gallagher?
First-round pick. They're mathematically strapped to by the cap. Don't forget about that. And it's consistent for the next couple of years at 81, whatever. Let's just call it 81. It's just stuck there. So they have players coming up. They have their big contracts already in place. I got it right here, Tony. They have Blake Wheeler makes 8.25. Carl Connor makes 7. Liney's at 6.7. He wants at least 9. Scheifele's at 6.1. Ehlers is at 6. These are all long-term deals.
Yeah.
And then you got Perreault, Lowry, and Kopp all at 2, 2, and 4. Their top 5 forwards make $6 million plus.
Okay, so I'm going to take it a step further. Add a Gallagher in there.
Okay. I would do that. Like, they would do that.
I would give up any forward on the team, minus Nick Suzuki, for Patrick Laine.
Yes, there's more to that, though.
Of course there is.
I would take in like an Adam Lowry type fourth line center. I think the Thompson player is a player that you need a veteran on the fourth line with some young wingers. That's where you put your Paling and your had a great playoff run. I like him. Right-handed shot, Tony in the minors. Evans. That's your fourth line. Like a Lowry with physical, Evans and Paling. They will eventually move up.
Evans plays center though. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm just saying you can bump him to the right-handed shot. You can kind of bump him to the outside. They can be interchangeable. So Paling's a center as well. But
because if you have a 6'5" Patrick Laine here, who's 22 years old, who's already scored 40 goals in an NHL season
in his sleep,
and then you have a couple of years from now a Cole Caulfield behind them who's only 5'7". That Caulfield is insulated by the 6'5" Laine who's on the first line.
100%.
He's not going to. So it changes the whole.
That's my point. That's my point.
That's my point too.
No, you can't take my point and say it's your point.
I said it better.
And that's what you've always done. You always just listen to my points.
And you're talking about your hair?
My hair looks great.
Look at my hair, bro.
My hair's okay.
Look at my hair.
I look really
Look at my hair.
I've been using some Jack Black stuff on my beard too. It looks pretty good. I look pretty good. What's going on with yours? You look like one of that, you know, one of the cartoons with like the dirty thing here? That's what you look like.
Oh, the goatee? So you know
Is that
the
a
story?
goatee?
Okay, so this is
You have like 3 minutes to tell us goatee.
very quick story. So when we started off in the business, I started working television, and I don't like to shave. So anyway, long story short, sometimes we're getting called over on the other side to do television without much notice or whatever and stuff like that. So then I get there, and then you have to shave. So I didn't like it. So anyway, I went to laser, and I said, do I laser everything? And if I do, maybe one day I'm going to regret not having facial hair. So I decided to leave just the goatee. Okay.
You lasered this?
Yes. So I lasered all of this here.
Seriously?
I lasered all of that. Yeah. I lasered it. But I think it was like $200 every time I was going for laser. And at one point I was short of money. So I never finished the laser. And when I wanted to get back to it, by that time the white hairs had come out, and you can't laser white hairs. So now it's a butchered laser job and all that stuff. It's a disaster. But listen, before we go, I got to ask you one thing. When you brush your teeth, do you put water on the toothbrush first?
Yes, always.
Or you just put the toothpaste?
Always water.
Water. Once you start brushing, you put it back under water again.
So once my mouth gets really, really full,
yeah,
I like, you're not supposed to spit the toothpaste out, actually.
Okay.
You're supposed to keep it there for as long as possible. So the sides of this, then you go on the inside, and you start trekking around and stuff like that. And then you're not supposed to spit out. Sometimes though, I get to a point where I gotta spit the shit out. Like, I got blah. So I spit it out. Yeah. I don't put it back underwater until I'm done.
Okay.
And then I put my hand, couple of O's.
Oh, with your hand, really?
Yeah.
All right. You put hand sanitizer in your hand before you do that, or no?
No.
No. Okay, I'm just wondering.
No, it doesn't matter.
You know why I asked you this, by the way?
Why?
If you have a chance, watch the Tottenham documentary on Netflix. You'll understand everything.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
Who do you like tonight?
How much does this pay, by the way?
Who wins the Super Bowl?
You do e-transfer? I'm going to go with Baltimore Ravens.
Winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
That kid at quarterback's pretty impressive.
Well, they have, probably the second best quarterback in the world. So why wouldn't I choose them?
Because I'm going to take the number one super.
He's the Carey Price of quarterbacks. He just has a team backing him up.
All right. I love you. Bye, buddy.
Hey, how much does this pay? You do e-transfer?
I will. I'll send you the $13 for that half-done haircut. How do you get the one side to grow out that way? How do you do that? How do you do the one side like?
I just cut it myself.
It's like you got this going like this. It's like, hey, forget about it.
I did this for $13. Hey, I hope you're kidding me.
I'm not giving you 13. Why would I give you more than 8?
Hey, usually when I talk in the day, I get paid. Respect that. Ciao.